Imagine this. You're a German scout in 1944. You look across a field and see hundreds of American tanks lined up, engines rumbling. You radio HQ in panic. A full armored division is here. But you don't know the truth. Those tanks are balloons. The soldiers you think you hear marching are sound recordings. And the radio messages you intercept are coming from two board art students sitting in a tent with a microphone. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most unbelievable operations in military history, a story that stayed secret for 50 years. This is the tale of the Ghost Army, the artists, designers, and illusionists who fought World War II, using deception, creativity, and inflatable tanks. Act I, the army that shouldn't exist. World War II is remembered for its brutality, its weapons, and its heroes. But behind the front lines, an entirely different kind of unit was formed, one with no heavy weapons, no combat training, and a mission so strange that most generals couldn't believe it. The US Army called them the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, but history remembers them by another name, the Ghost Army. This unit wasn't made of soldiers. It was made of artists from New York art schools, fashion designers, sound engineers, set builders, and even future famous painters. Their job? Not to fight the enemy, but to deceive them. Act II. How do you build a fake army? The Ghost Army had 3 weapons, none of them lethal, but all of them deadly effective. 1. The inflatable tanks. These were rubber Sherman tanks that could be folded like tents and inflated in minutes. From the air, they looked real. From the ground, they looked real. To a distant German spy holding binoculars, they meant panic. The Ghost Army could deploy hundreds of these fake vehicles overnight, creating the illusion of an entire armored division appearing out of nowhere. 2. The sound engineers. This wasn't random noise. These were sound artists from Hollywood who spent weeks recording actual tank battalions, trucks, artillery, and troop movements. They then blasted these sounds through enormous speakers up to 15 miles away. A quiet forest suddenly sounded like a massive deployment zone. A small camp became a city-sized operation. 3. The radio tricksters. 2 men in a tent, imitating the radio traffic patterns of a real division, could convince German intelligence that an entire army was on the move. They studied the radio personality of real units, how often they spoke, how long they paused, the slang they used, and copied it perfectly. Germany's best codebreakers believed every word. Act IAI operation after operation. The Ghost Army carried out more than 20 large-scale deception missions, each one more daring than the last. Operation Brest? The Germans believed the Americans were preparing a massive assault, but it was all inflatable tanks and fake artillery placements tying down German troops who could have been used elsewhere. Operation Viersen. This is their masterpiece. The Ghost Army was tasked with convincing the Germans that the US 9th Army would cross the Rhine River at a completely different location. Hundreds of fake tanks. Dozens of fake artillery positions. Miles of fake radio chatter. Night after night of simulated troop movements. The Germans bought it. They moved an entire division to defend against balloons, tape recordings, and actors wearing stolen uniforms. While the Germans guarded a Ghost Army, the real army crossed the Rhine miles away with minimal resistance. Historians estimate the Ghost Army saved tens of thousands of Allied lives. Act IV. Why no one knew for 50 years. After the war, the missions were classified. The soldiers were told they could never speak of what they did, not even to their families. For decades, their contribution was buried under paperwork and secrecy. Many of the artists who served went on to fame. Bill Blass became a legendary fashion designer. Ellsworth Kelly became a famous painter, but none could reveal how they spent the war. It wasn't until the mid-1990 seconds that their operations were finally declassified, revealing the truth. A group of young artists had helped defeat Hitler, not with bullets, but with creativity. Today, many modern military deception tactics trace their roots back to the Ghost Army. Their strategies influenced Cold War espionage, psychological warfare, and even modern camouflage programs. But more importantly, their story challenges what we think war is. Because sometimes, the strongest weapon on the battlefield isn't firepower, it's imagination.